My name is Veronica. I am 33 years old. I love my husband. His name is William. He is 38 years old. He was kind and gentle. We had a beautiful life together. But after the accident, everything changed. My husband, the man I loved, woke up, and he did not know my name. He looked at me and asked, "Who are you?" In that moment, my heart broke. I had to make him love me again. This is my story. This is the story of the stranger I married. Our story began 10 years ago. I met William in a coffee shop. He was sitting at the table next to me. He spilled his coffee. It went all over my shoes. He was so sorry. I just laughed. He bought me a new one. We started talking. We talked for hours. It felt like I had known him my whole life. He made me laugh. I felt comfortable with him. After that, we saw each other every day. He was a book writer. He worked from home. I was a teacher at a primary school. Our lives were simple. I remember the day he proposed. We were at our favorite park. He was very nervous. His hands were shaking. He said, "Veronica, I want to spend every day of my life with you. Will you marry me?" I cried. I said, "Yes, of course." Our wedding was small. Only our family and close friends were there. It was the happiest day of my life. I looked at William, my husband, and I thought, I am the luckiest woman in the world. For 5 years we were married. We were best friends. I thought our love was so strong. I thought nothing could ever break us. But I was wrong. It was a Tuesday morning. I went to school. William was working at home. In the afternoon, my phone rang. It was an unknown number. I answered it. A serious voice said, "Are you Veronica, the wife of William?" My heart began to beat fast. I said, "Yes, I am. Is everything okay?" The voice said, "Your husband was in an accident. He is at the city hospital. You need to come right away." The world stopped. I could not breathe. An accident? William? It was not possible. He was at home. He was safe at home. I dropped the phone. My colleague saw my face. She asked, "Veronica, what is wrong?" I could not speak. I just pointed at the phone. She picked it up. She talked to the person. Then she looked at me and said, "I will drive you to the hospital." My mind was full of terrible thoughts. "Please be okay, William. Please be okay." I repeated these words again and again. When we arrived at the hospital, I ran inside. I asked for my husband, William. A nurse took me to a small waiting room. She said a doctor would come and talk to me soon. Waiting was the hardest part. Every minute felt like an hour. My hands were cold. I was shaking. I thought about his smile, his laugh. I could not lose him. I just could not. At last, a doctor came in. He said, "Veronica, your husband was hit by a car. He was crossing the street." I began to cry. The doctor continued, "He has a serious head injury. We did a surgery. The surgery was successful. He is stable now. He is alive." Alive. That word was like a lifeline. He was alive. "Can I see him?" I asked. The doctor nodded. "Yes, but I need to tell you something first. Because of the head injury, we don't know what will happen when he wakes up. He might have memory loss. We have to wait and see." Memory loss. I did not understand what that really meant. I just wanted to see him. The nurse took me to his room. His head was wrapped in a bandage. There were many machines around him. I took his hand and said, "William, it's me. It's Veronica. I am here. Please, wake up." I stayed by his side for 3 days. I did not go home. I did not sleep. I just watched him, waiting for him to open his eyes. On the 3rd day, his fingers moved. I called the nurse. "He's waking up," I said. The doctor came quickly. He slowly opened his eyes. He looked at the doctor. He looked at the nurse. Then he looked at me. I smiled and said, "William, you're awake." He looked at me, confused. He opened his mouth. His voice was weak. He said, Who are you?" My heart stopped. "What?" I said. "William, it's me. It's Veronica, your wife." He just stared at me. Then he looked at the doctor. "I don't know her," he said. The doctor said, "Veronica, can we talk outside for a moment?" I could not move. I just looked at my husband, the man who promised to love me forever. And he was looking at me like I was a complete stranger. The doctor explained it to me. It was called amnesia. The injury had damaged the part of his brain that stored his personal memories, his emotional connections. The doctor said he remembers general things. He knows his name is William. He knows what a car is. But he does not remember you, your marriage, your life together. For him, the last 10 years are gone. Gone. 10 years of our life, our meeting, our dates, our wedding, our home, all gone. The doctor said his memory might come back. It could take weeks, months, or years. Or it might never come back. I went back into the room. I tried to be strong. I smiled. "It's okay, William. You had an accident. Your memory is a little confused, but you are safe. I am here to help you." He looked at me with fear in his eyes. He was scared. I was a stranger to him, a stranger who claimed to be his wife. The next few weeks were the hardest of my life. William stayed in the hospital. I visited him every day. I told him about our life. I showed him pictures from our wedding. He would look at them. He would listen, but his face was blank. He was looking at a movie of someone else's life. He saw a man who looked like him, but he did not feel like him. When he was ready to leave the hospital, the doctor said it was best for him to go home. Perhaps it would help his memory. But our home was not familiar to him. It was my home, not his. The day he came home was strange. He looked at our small white house and said, "This is our house?" I said, "Yes. Welcome home." I opened the door. He walked inside slowly. He looked at everything. He looked at our photos on the wall. He walked into the kitchen. I wanted him to feel at home, but how can you feel at home in a stranger's house? That night I made his favorite dinner, roast chicken. He ate it quietly. "Is it good?" I asked. He nodded and said, "Yes, it is very good. Thank you. Just thank you." The words a guest would say, not my husband. I went to the bedroom and cried. We slept in the same bed, but we felt far from each other. I was afraid to touch him. I did not want to scare him. I was sleeping next to a stranger who looked like my husband. I missed him so much. He was right there, but he was gone. I decided I could not give up. I had to try. I had to make him remember. Or if he could not remember, I had to make him fall in love with me again. I had to start from the beginning, so I tried to recreate our first date. I said, "William, do you want to go to a coffee shop?" He said, "I don't know, Veronica. It feels strange." I said, "Please, let's just go for a coffee as friends." He agreed. We went to the coffee shop. We sat at a table. I told him the story of how he spilled coffee on my shoes. He smiled a little. "I was clumsy, huh?" he said. "Yes," I said, "but very charming." I took him to the park where he proposed. I told him all the stories, but he was always quiet. I did not know what he was thinking. Was he remembering anything? Was he feeling anything? Our friends and family tried to help. His mother hugged him. She cried, "Oh, William, my son." But he did not remember her. Our friends tried to make him laugh. He would smile, but he felt like an outsider. He was listening to stories about a man he did not know. One evening, my best friend Adeline came to see me. I said, "I don't know what to do, Adeline. I feel like I am losing him every day. He is nice and kind, but he is not my William. He is a stranger." Adeline said, "Maybe you are trying too hard to bring the old William back. Maybe you need to let him get to know the new you, and you need to get to know the new him." Perhaps Adeline was right. I was so focused on the past. I was trying to force him to remember our old life, but that life was gone for him. I needed to build something new. The next day, I stopped talking about the past. I began talking about the present. I told him about my day at school. He listened, and this time he asked questions. He asked, "What do you teach?" He wanted to know about me, Veronica, the woman who was living with him now. We began to have small conversations. We talked about the weather. We talked about the news. We talked about a movie. It was painful sometimes, but it was a start. He began to spend more time with me. He would sit in the kitchen while I cooked. Sometimes he would try to help. One afternoon, I came home from school. I was very tired. I had a difficult day. I sat on the sofa and closed my eyes. When I opened my eyes, William was standing there with a cup of coffee. He said, "You looked tired. I made you coffee." Tears filled my eyes. "Is it bad?" he asked. I shook my head. No, I said. It's perfect. He smiled, the smile I had missed so much. In that moment, I knew he was still in there, and maybe, just maybe, he was starting to love me again. It was our 6th wedding anniversary. I woke up feeling sad. He didn't even know it was our anniversary. I didn't say anything to him, but I was sad all day. That evening, I could not hide it anymore. He found me crying in our bedroom, holding our wedding album. He sat next to me on the bed. His eyes were full of pain. "I'm sorry," he said. "I am so sorry I can't remember this. I'm sorry I'm not him, that man in the pictures." He continued, "I am living in his house. I am sleeping in his bed. I am with his wife, but I am not him. Veronica, maybe you should be free. Maybe you should find someone who can love you the way you deserve to be loved. I am not that man. I am just a ghost." He was letting me go. I looked at him, and I realized I was falling in love with this new William, the one who was thinking about my happiness. "Listen to me, William," I said. "I loved that man in the pictures, but I am also starting to love the man who is sitting in front of me. I don't want to be free from you. I want to be with you." He looked at me with tears in his eyes. That night we decided to build a future. We began going on real dates. We would walk in the park and talk for hours. One evening, William said, "Veronica, I think I am falling in love with you." I cried happy tears. "I am falling in love with you too, William," I said. Life was not perfect. He still had bad days. His memory never fully came back. A year after the accident, on the day of our anniversary, he took me to the park, the same park where he first proposed. He took my hand and said, "Veronica, I know I can't remember the first time I did this. I can't remember the promise I made to you, but I want to make a new promise." He got down on one knee. He pulled out a small box. Inside was a beautiful ring. "Veronica," he said, "you stayed with me when I was a stranger. You taught me how to live again. You taught me how to love again. I love you more than words can say. Will you marry me again?" "Yes," I said. I had tears in my eyes. We were standing in the same place, but we were different people. Our love was different. Sometimes life takes away things we think we can't live without. It can be scary. It can be painful. But when you lose everything, you find what truly matters. You find a new beginning. Never give up on love, and never give up on yourself. If you liked this story, please like, comment, share, and subscribe.